So you guys saw the title today. We have to talk about Dave Ramsey. Love or hate the guy, you got to admit he's one of the most, if not the most inspirational figures in the personal finance space. And we have to talk about some of his advice over the years. So guys, take a sip of your coffee. You're going to need it. Cheers, by the way, and let's get into it.
And you scratch your head and wonder why you're freaking broke. Average car payment in America now is $499. That's suspiciously like $500. If you take $500 a month and invest it from age 30 to age 70, you'll have, would you believe it? You're going to have over $5 million.
So yeah, that clip is a little old. Now the average car payment has gone up a lot from $500. Now I think it's $700 for a new car, but the advice remains the same. Whether it's $500, $700, whatever, if you don't shell this out every month to a car payment, if you invest that money instead, he's right. You'll have a ton of money over 40 years, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever the time span. You'll have a lot if you invest what would have been a new car payment into the stock market. If you invest it, man, you'll have some money. You'll have a lot of money in retirement.
So basically for the past year, I've been living with my girlfriend at her mom's house. We've been working both of our salary jobs and then an extra job on the side, saving as much as we can. And now we've gotten to the point where I think we have enough to kind of, buy our first home. And,
No. Don't do that.
No?
No, never buy a house with someone you're not married to.
Okay.
Under any circumstances. You're about to get yourself in a huge mess. Yeah, you complicate the breakup like nothing, like nobody's business. Mm-hmm. You're going to buy a house with her? You better put a ring on it first, buddy.
We've been together for about 6 years now.
Dominic, please don't buy a house with someone you're not married to. Really.
Okay.
I've been doing this 30 years, and I've heard unbelievable horror stories because you now have a partner. You have no protection under the law. This is relationally backwards, it's legally dumb, and it's financially stupid.
Yeah, that's a bit of a controversial one. Should you buy a house with your girlfriend? Should you wait till you're married? And I personally agree with Dave here. I for sure think you should never buy a house with somebody you're just dating. I mean, that's just... you're asking for it at that point, let's be honest. And yes, even if you're married, I guess they could still leave you. You'll get divorced. You have to split the house or sell it, whatever. So even if you're married, there's still risk, obviously, but way less risk than with a girlfriend or somebody you're dating. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of controversy around this topic, but I agree with Dave. No doubt, don't buy a house with somebody you're dating, even if you've been dating for years. You might as well, at that point, if you're dating for years, if you have kids together, you want to have kids together, what are you waiting for? Just get married at that point, man. What the heck? I don't get it. Get a prenup if you're worried about losing your assets or whatever. Just get married, then buy a house. That's simple.
Don't loan people that you like money because you change the relationship. There's shame. There's control issues. They look and go, where'd y'all go on vacation? Why, you still owe us money? You went to Disney World? This is the kind of crap that happens. And it's not even subtle in most families. Most families are just pretty abusive to each other. In others, it's just passive-aggressive. In others, it's just one little eye roll that chills the whole room and changes the entire dinner party.
1,000%. I couldn't agree more with Dave Ramsey on this point. If you like somebody, you got a relationship with them, they're your friend, your family, whatever, don't loan them money. Don't loan them money and expect that relationship to be the same. Maybe once if you loan them money, it's fine. But if you do that over and over again, that's when the relationship will change. They'll start to expect money from you. Even after one time you loan them money, it could get weird. Just don't do it. Don't do it. If you loan people money, man, once money gets involved in anything, it changes the relationship, right? So in my opinion, man, if you want to help somebody out in your family, maybe a friend, and you have the resources, you have the money to be like, all right, here's $1,000, $2,000, $500, whatever. If you can afford that, don't even loan it. Just gift it. Give it without expecting money back, because let's be honest, if you're loaning somebody money, they're not in a good financial situation. What are the odds they're actually going to pay you back at some point, right? And Kevin O'Leary, I think, said this. He'll loan you money once, or not loan, gift you money once, but don't expect it again, right? That I kind of agree with as well. Don't loan money, gift it, and only do it once, if you do it at all, and make it clear that it's not going to be an ongoing thing. It's a one-time gift, and that's it.
If you lose $24,000 every 5 years, don't be scratching your head and wondering why don't have wealth. It's because you're driving it. A new car loses 60% of its value in the first 5 years. If you buy a $40,000 car, when you drive it off the lot and you hear that sound going over the curb, blum, blum, when you went into the street, that sound was $10,000. As soon as it's titled to an individual and it touches the street, it's going to drop 20-25% that day. That means your $40,000 car in 5 years is going to be a $16,000 car.
He couldn't be more right about that. Buying a new car is the dumbest thing you can do, man, especially if you do it consistently. Could you imagine if you're one of those people that buys a new car? Let's say now it's 2025, right? I go buy a new car, and then once 2030 hits, I buy another new car. If you're one of these people that buys a new car every 5 years, you keep repeating this cycle, essentially you're burning tens of thousands of dollars every 5 years. I mean, that adds up, especially if you take into account the opportunity cost of that money you're losing every 5 years. And what would it be if you put it into the stock market? Man, we're talking millions of dollars probably. We're talking a ton of money compounded over decades that you're just losing out on by continuously buying new cars. That's if you can't afford them. I think Dave Ramsey says if you're a millionaire, go ahead and buy a new car. It doesn't affect you. I agree with that 100%. But if you can't afford a new car, you're not a millionaire. Don't just do it every 5 years. You're putting yourself in a hole. Not the place to be.
It's scary how stupid people are. Man, it's scary. It's like, here's how you have $1 million. Yeah, but $1 million isn't going to be that much. $1 million isn't that much now, by the way. Let me help you with that. $1 million isn't that much. It's not going to be that much in 40 years. It's going to be more than you have, you moron.
Yeah, man, nothing's funnier than the guy that's like, oh, $1 million. What? $1 million is nothing. It's not going to be anything in retirement. Meanwhile, he works at Wendy's and has $400 in his bank account. It's like, come on, man. Yes, $1 million. It's not going to be that much when we retire, because of inflation. It's just how it works. But the reality is $1 million is still more than 95%, probably more. I don't know exactly, but it's more than a lot of people will have in their lifetime. So scoffing at $1 million, it's like, dude, you work at Wendy's, you have $1,000, you don't save for retirement, and you're scoffing at $1 million. What the heck are you doing? $1 million is still $1 million. You can't deny that. But yeah, I mean, you won't be able to live off of it for, in 20, 30, 40 years, but it's still $1 million. Come on, more than a lot of people have.
We struggle just getting by check to check and wondering what is the best way to kind of get out of that rut.
What's your income?
About $72,000 a year.
Okay. How much your house payment?
$1,700.
How much your car payment?
$210.
So we got $6,000 minus house payment minus car payment. So I got $4,000 left. Feels kind of weird, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Like right this second, you're asking yourself, where the flip's this money going? And that's kind of what I'm asking. By not having really good organization with my money and every detail laid out, the chaos eats these dollars for breakfast. And so a written budget, a detailed budget, will make you feel like you've gotten a raise. Jump on every dollar and start using it's free to use. Just everydollar.com, download the app and start using that budgeting app with you and your husband. And you got to start working on that tonight. You're going to feel like you got a raise.
Bingo. People need to make a budget. And this call was probably a couple years old, considering the mortgage is $1,700, the $200 car payment, whatever. It's probably a couple years old, but the advice remains the same. If you don't know where your money's going, you're paycheck to paycheck, you're like, oh my God, once my money comes in, it goes out. Well, you're going to need a written budget. Download an app, whether it's that app, whatever app it might be, right? Maybe you don't need an app. Just use Excel. Maybe write it down on a piece of frickin' paper, guys. But you need a budget. You need to realize what's coming in, what's going out, what categories you're spending money. And then, well, you can actually, realize, all right, I'll cut back here. I'll cut back here. Maybe we can spend more here. And that gives you a better idea of what is going on with your finances, right? Everybody's got to do that. Make a budget.
I'm looking to buy my first house with my wife. My in-laws are being generous and lending us about $100,000 to help with the down payment.
You all aren't going to like my answer. I would recommend you don't take out a loan with your in-laws.
Oh, really?
The borrower is slave to the lender, and when you owe your father-in-law money, Thanksgiving dinner tastes different.
Yeah. All right.
This is how families end up not speaking to each other. They're probably very kind, not controlling people. That will all change the first time you miss a payment.
Mm.
And suddenly where you went on vacation, the brand of the kids' clothes matters. Mm-hmm. They're looking at every decision you make with money as to whether they get paid or not. They can't keep from doing it because they're human beings. Now, how bitter they are, angry they are, or toxic they are in response to those situations could be different depending on how wonderful people they are. But it doesn't matter. You're going to feel different. Your wife won't feel as much of it as you will, but you're going to feel it. Mm. And so that's my speech. I would not do that. I would highly recommend. I will never loan my children money, ever. Now, I may give them some money if I've got some extra money. To do something like you're talking about, I would make that a gift, personally. But that's pretty bold to ask for that on your part. But I would buy a house that your down payment plus your mortgage that you can afford would purchase, not an in-law loan.
Yeah, I'm totally with Dave on that. And I'm not a big fan of taking money. Maybe it's a pride thing. I don't know, guys. I like working for what I got. I like saying, I saved up for this. I bought this. My wife and I bought this. We saved up for this. Maybe it's a pride thing, but I wouldn't even want to take money, even if it's a gift, a loan, whatever you want to call it. I'm not taking money from other people to buy a house, right? I'm just not doing it. And honestly, he's right about the fact that Thanksgiving dinner is going to taste different. No doubt he's right about that. And with your in-laws, man, I would not take money for my in-laws especially. It's like, who wants to do that? Yeah, it's tough to save for a house these days, no doubt. People could use a down payment from their parents, but again, it comes back down to pride. Do I want to do that? Personally, no, of course not. And should you do it? I don't think so. I don't think you should. It makes, family relations a bit awkward, a bit different. I don't know. Do what you want to do at the end of the day, but I completely agree with Dave Ramsey there. You probably shouldn't borrow money from your in-laws, especially from your in-laws, guys. Just don't do it. So there we have it. That is advice from Dave Ramsey over the years, and we could talk on and on about Dave Ramsey. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but I do agree with most of the things that he says. And like I said in the intro, guys, he is one of the most, if not the most influential people in the personal finance space. He has been for decades, and I feel like he will continue to be for quite some time until he finally retires, which I don't know. I don't know when that day is going to come. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Run the likes up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.